I'm pretty up on your projects. I mean, we've worked together and known each other a long time. I remember you reading me a scene from like Inglourious Bastards 11 years before you made it. I knew about Django for about 10 years. But I didn't hear about Hateful Eight until it was in the news that it had leaked. And I was like, what script? Hateful Eight? Never heard of that. This was like one of the fastest projects you'd ever put together. I had never even heard of it. When did this come together? Was it during Django, or when you were in a Western kick, or?
Yeah.
No, it came out. I never heard of it.
It was really quick. It kind of came out really quick. I was not prepared to get ready to do anything yet. Actually, I was going to take a little bit of time off. And also, it was kind of weird. I had a weird situation happen in my life around the time of, after Django came out, and I was both kind of depressed and kind of angry about a couple things, and I've never written in a time where I was both depressed and angry, and I think you can tell it in the piece that I was very angry.
Had a few things to work out there.
Yeah. And so I kind of worked them out, all right, in the script. I would actually recommend, if you're depressed and angry, write a good script, all right? Write something like this. Right? Lock the room and dare anybody to leave.
The Hateful Eight.
But, how this actually ended up starting was the fact that I knew I didn't want to do a Django sequel, but I did like the idea of Django having other adventures. And, a long time ago, when David Carradine was playing Kane on Kung Fu, they'd come out with these paperback novels that would be other adventures of him. And I thought, hey, that could be kind of cool if Django had other adventures that were done in paperback form. And so I thought about that idea, and then I thought to myself, I talked to a publishing house, and they sent over some story ideas. I go, nah, I think I'd try to write the first one anyway, because I know my mythology. And it basically was this. This is what it was called Django and White Hell, all right, was the name of it. And pretty much the first 2 chapters in the Stagecoach is what I was writing.
So you're writing it for a novel?
Yeah, I was writing it for a novel. And just a little paperback. Just one was as an exercise to do it. And then all these exercise things kind of kept coming into it. I liked the idea of doing a mystery, and I'd never done that before, so that became another exercise to work on. And what was funny was I ended up going on a kind of a trip around the world. I just had a bunch of different film festivals to go to. So I had the script with me. I'd only written the Stagecoach part. And so I went to Macau, and then I went to Korea, and then I went to Lyon, France, and then I ended up in Morelia, Mexico. And I'm working on the piece the entire time. And by the time I got to Mexico, I'm working on the piece, and then they kind of set up a place in the roof for me to write. And it was really kind of a lovely situation. That's where I came up with the whole speech, the whole blowjob speech and everything. I did that in Mexico. And came up with all that there. And so I'm writing it, and then all of a sudden, it hits me, the only thing wrong with this is Django. Django doesn't belong in this piece. Nobody should be a good guy. There should be no moral center, no even... nobody at all you can gravitate towards for moral reasons. You might gravitate towards somebody nevertheless, but that's all on you. And I wanted it to just be a room full of dislikable bad guys, basically. That you couldn't trust anything they said. They're all going to tell you stories about themselves, or you'll hear stories about them, but you can't believe a fucking thing anybody says.
You're definitely one of the most functional, angry depressives I've ever. Travelogue of how you wrote this.
Well, oddly enough, I wrote this and I felt a lot better.